Hello and thank you for watching. We're doing a short little presentation here on is it okay for the elderly to drink wine. Back in the old days, like Civil War days or like 100 years ago, they didn't have an abundance of physicians and drugstores and all that, so you kind of like had to rely on your home remedies. Many of the circuit riding preachers in those days, they traveled with a Bible and a hymnal and a flask of whiskey. They would carry whiskey. Sometimes their throat would get irritated and sore, from preaching or just traveling in the weather or whatever. And they'd carry whiskey with them. They were, just for medication use, basically. And we're going to be talking about strong drink and wine in the context of dealing with the elderly and when they get up in the years and pain management and things like that. And we'd like to preface this that if you have issues with pain or whatever, we highly suggest that you get counseled with a qualified physician. Today, the day that we live in, there's an abundance of physicians, and we just suggest that you be careful about your health, and it never hurts to get counseled with a physician. Qualified, private, confidential counsel. We're in Proverbs chapter 31, starting with verse 6. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Okay, the first part of that verse is give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish. If a person is ready to perish, they're in need of something for their pain. They need strong drink. In the old days, they'd take a strong drink of something, just to give them a buzz or something, help them manage the pain. But today, they have like on ambulances and medevac helicopters and etc. They have morphine. They can give you morphine. They can put you on IV, and there's an abundance of things they can do to help you manage your pain today. But as far as a home remedy, kind of a home remedy, it's talking about here, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish. That would be some kind of a very strong alcoholic beverage or something like that. And to give some examples about the use of this, in the Bible, you had people that were traveling great distances to come and worship the Lord at Jerusalem. Let's give you a case here. We're going to Isaiah chapter 27, verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish. Notice that word perish. In the land of Assyria and the outcasts of the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem. Here's people that are traveling, they're in Assyria, they're in Egypt, some are ready to perish, and they're coming to Jerusalem to worship the Lord. Now the Lord gave some conditions about travel in Deuteronomy chapter 14, basically from like verse 23 down to 26. We're just going to read 26, but God said if you're going to travel to basically, if it's a long distance, liquidate your assets, get money and travel with it. When you reach your destination, like if you're going to Jerusalem, then once you arrive, you can start buying the things that you need. In verse 26, we're in Deuteronomy 14:26, and thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household. Notice in the context, it included wine or for strong drink. Some people would say that wine is grape juice. Well, if you think that, then just look at the next part of that verse. Or for strong drink. Okay, that's strong drink. That's not just juice. Okay, and the deal is this: when you're traveling, you get injured, you have a need. If you're ready to perish, you actually have a need, and so it's a form of mercy. It's a form of mercy. If you're hurt and you have a need, then by all means, use this stuff. And today, with all the physicians running around, if people get injured, they're in a hospital. Many years ago, and hundreds of years ago, they didn't have the hospitals and facilities that we have today. And then also the second half of that verse said, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. If you have a really heavy heart, then you need something emotionally for yourself. And just to give you a reference on that, we'll go to Proverbs 25:20. 25:20. As he that taketh away a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon nitre, so is he that singeth songs to an heavy heart. The way that verse works is, if you're with somebody out in the cold, let's say it's cold outside and there's snow and everything, and all of a sudden you strip the guy's jacket off, he has an immediate reaction. He's cold. I mean, an immediate reaction. Or if you put baking soda in vinegar, there's an immediate reaction, starts bubbling up. And so it is with if somebody has had maybe a death in their family, or they lost their spouse, or lost a child, or parent, or something like that. You don't go there singing and partying and happy and everything. That's the wrong attitude. The Bible says, "Mourn with those that mourn, and weep with those which weep." And you're supposed to love them and be a blessing to them. You don't go in there and party and like you got the victory. And one thing about somebody that's lost a relative, they don't want to go to concerts. They don't want to go to listen to bands or anything. They're not into that because they're hurting, and it doesn't minister to them. But if they go to church and hear good hymns of the faith and things like that, yes, it will minister to them. But they just don't need to hear this celebrating music, and because it's hurting them, it just quenches them, they hurt real bad in the heart. And some people, for example, I've known of people, as a matter of fact, I know of a lady that she had a nervous breakdown. Her husband wanted to divorce her, and he applied for divorce, and it took her all by surprise, and she broke down. They had to take her to the hospital. They put her in a psych ward. They put her on medications. She was broke down inside. Her heart was hurt so bad, and sometimes there's a need. There's a need for medications and things to help with the heart. And if you find yourself in that situation, again, I highly suggest that you consult with a qualified physician. We're talking more or less about home remedies here. And then it says in Proverbs 31, verse 6, the last half of that verse, "And wine unto those that be of heavy hearts." If you need some wine, you've got an emotional issue and you're hurting real bad about something, I don't blame you if you drink some wine. I don't blame you at all. I'm okay with it. And so that's kind of like what the Bible is saying about having a heavy heart issue. Get something for your heart there. And anyway, as far as the elderly, like moving up in the years, I can't define exactly what the age is for elderly. I would just suggest maybe 60s and 70s and moving up there in the years. The Bible says in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 23, "Drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake and thine often infirmities." If you have like infirmities or problems with the stomach or whatever, maybe arthritis, or you got some joints that are hurting, or whatever, I don't know, whatever. The day that we live in, I would highly suggest that you cancel the physician. But as far as a home remedy, you can take like water. In the context of this passage, you can take water and then maybe get some wine, and we're talking about fermented wine. We're not talking about juice. We're talking about fermented wine. Has a small alcohol content, and maybe mix it with the water, dilute it out a little bit, and then you can actually take some sugar and dissolve it and make it more palatable, and use that for pain management, your infirmities, that kind of thing. And I highly suggest that you get counsel from a physician. You're moving up in the years. It doesn't hurt. There's an abundance of physicians around. It doesn't hurt to stop in and talk with somebody. And just to talk, sometimes they'll give you a free consultation. Most doctors, the Bible says a laborer is worthy of his hire, but a lot of doctors will cancel with you for free. I've known doctors in church. You meet a doctor at church and you ask them, "What do you think about so and so?" And they'll tell you, free charge. So, but anyway, if they charge you, then it's worth your while, to go see the doctor. A lot of elderly people move up in the years, and they're still serving in the churches. A lot of them are deacons, like a lot of the elderly men are deacons in a church. Paul said in 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 8, dealing with qualifications of a deacon, he said, "Likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre." It said much wine. It wasn't telling you that you had to abstain from wine altogether. It just said not given to much wine. And that's the context of using a little wine for thy stomach's sake. You're just using a little bit of it, or maybe you're diluting it out, or however that you use it. And also I'd like to say that if you are using wine, that you kind of keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. It's possible to assist in helping a younger brother stumble by using the wine, so I'd suggest that you keep it to yourself. We're in Romans. We're in Romans chapter 14 and verse 21. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak. Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before God. Happy is he that condemneth not himself the thing which he alloweth. And he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith, for whatsoever is not of faith is sin. So we suggest that you, if you do decide to use, fermented wine, and you're up there in the years, and you decide that you are going to use it, then you just kind of keep it to yourself. Just keep it private. It's between you and the Lord. Okay. All right. Well, I hope this little presentation has been a blessing to you. Thank you very much for watching.